Yeah, I think I have Wi-Fi issues too, Ben. So basically, Aussie Swiss, I'm not sure on. Aussie Swiss could be, like I said, a double bottom here. This could be a potential higher low. I mean, it looks bearish, but at this point, I have no clue on this pair. I'm pretty confused, and I don't know if this is a potential higher low. It's kind of just consolidating right now. It's not really doing much of anything. So it is deceleration. So this could potentially pop to the upside, but there's nothing I'd want to touch on this until we get some sort of confirmation on it. So this is definitely wait. Let's look at Aussie Yen. Aussie Yen is just falling away. I honestly don't know how far this is going to go. This thing could just go forever. I guess this is the most likely area, is this 80 cent level. I guess there was some pretty decent opportunities if you were paying attention. I certainly wasn't. I mean, every one of these little breaks here could have been a good. This one too had a nice trend line. This one you could have had a nice trend line. There was some definite potential if you were willing to ride the momentum. But yeah, this pair, man, man, oh man. I know, right? Exactly, exactly. Can't wait for it to break. And then we finally got that break. And no, what the heck? So yeah, at this point, I think the train's left the station. I don't know what to do at this point, unfortunately. Let's have a look at Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD seems to be decelerating here. This one had a nice drop. So the weekly was pretty interesting when I was looking at this. This is just the weekly entries that I had put on from the weekly watch. But it's pretty interesting that price stalled out perfectly, and I mean absolutely perfectly at this 236 extension. That's pretty cool. This is some pretty good daily the beginnings of some daily deceleration. Maybe we'll actually get a pullback. Wishful thinking. But yeah, we started to decelerate. This isn't really. I wouldn't call this a bottom yet. Not with this kind of momentum. But it is slowing down. Definitely appears that we have a double bottom now. It looks like Aussie's going to get some strength here. That's what it's kind of looking like on all the pairs. So I'll have to wait and see on this one. This one could have a potential. If you wanted to play at the upside, we would need some pretty good. At this point, this is a pretty good level right here. So if we get a break and retest at this level, I would be inclined to take this for a quick move. Something like this would be kind of nice. But we'll have to wait and see. Aussie looks pretty good. Aussie Kiwi. Aussie Kiwi. I think this one's going to take off too. I think this is the bottom. So the weekly we had that breakout higher high. Now it looks like we're coming down to retest the previous resistance turn support. Daily chart. This was an indication that there was some buyers waiting right here. And then we had the hammer candle. And then we had the other inverted hammer candle right at the daily. And it looks like we're starting to get a little push here. I wouldn't want to get in too early on this. Just because lately I've been trying to anticipate these plays and kind of getting burned. So we'll wait for some good confirmation, at least for myself. So I would like to see this level break. Break and retest at this level would be really nice for a long entry. That would convince me that we are starting to change direction. So this one looks good for tomorrow. I think Aussie CAD and Aussie Kiwi could be pretty good once some development happens. Let's look at Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar is pretty interesting too. So Aussie dollar sitting at this. This is actually not that bad of a level. I mean, there's definitely some rejections here in the past. Definitely deceleration. Another rejection, deceleration. This was a pretty good wall back here. Another rejection here, and now we have these kind of tweezers. But the daily it's struggling to get anywhere. This is actually a pretty good trend line on the 1 hour chart. So it looks like it wants to break out. It looks like this could be the first higher low for this to continue higher. It needs a lot more development to make a call on this one. But I think this could definitely go up and form a higher high and come back down. I think it might need a little something. I wouldn't want to play this too long. I mean, it would have to be a quick in and out. I wouldn't even try to play it to the daily 50 just because the weekly is looking like that. That's craziness. Maybe just take it up. Oh, I did not see that. It looks like this is the weekly 50 right here. So we'd have to break above the weekly 50. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. That weekly 50 is a little sketchy. Actually, it's a lot sketchy. Let's do this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, any kind of long play on this is going to be kind of sketchy. We'd have to have a nice breakout higher high. I don't know. Playing any kind of long plays on this seem pretty sketchy. I mean, this is definitely. I don't know. These dollar pairs have got me so confused right now. Let's look at the dollar index real quick. So at the beginning of the week, this looked pretty good. This looked like a nice double bottom, low test, bullish engulfing, and what the heck happened? All momentum just ceased. So were we just interpreting this a little wrong? This being the first lower low. I mean, it is lower than this, so lower low, lower high. This is a little lower low. And now we have another lower high, and price is just going to keep breaking down. It's definitely tricky. It is definitely tricky right now. I could see price. It'll be interesting. If price comes up here and just tanks, then I think it's pretty safe to say that that was a false double bottom here, and this was actually just a lower low. So we'll wait and see what happens. I mean, if this starts crashing down, then Aussie dollar that'll take off. guys' opinions on this? Are you guys just kind of, it's kind of like me just sitting on the sidelines trying to figure out what the heck's going on? I kind of like that, Connor. I think that looks pretty good, actually. It might actually start going right now. Let's look at Euro real quick. So Euro looks like it might actually potentially become something. I'm not a real fan of putting a lot of weight into trend lines, but this is a nice deceleration day followed by a higher high. So I can definitely see this popping higher, but this weekly chart is just it's intimidating to take a long position on. So I don't. If I'm trading what I'm seeing this as another lower high. I'm seeing these as lower lows. I'm seeing these as lower highs. I'm seeing this as bearish, very bearish. I think this is a great value zone right here. If you get a nice rejection up here, if price does actually pull back, I don't think that would be a bad trade at all. I think that would be fantastic. This just looks, it's just odd to see. I mean, this could theoretically be making a lower high before it continues up. So this could just be going like this. But man, I'm not feeling the I'm not feeling the bullish on this. I think I think I'm just gonna need a lot more confirmation. I want to be really safe. I definitely don't want to jump the gun on this when it's this. This definitely isn't showing its hand to me. It's kind of confusing. Yeah, I think that's a safe play, Ben. Just sit on the sidelines, wait until we get some sort of clear indication on what's going on. Yeah, I mean, I this is the first time I'm taking 2 losses in a week in months, and they're both dollar pairs within 2 days of each other. So I think I'm just gonna sit back on the on the dollar pairs for a little bit. It's like a CAD yen. I don't know. I'm so confused on these yen pairs. I don't know how much further back they're going to go. Are they just going to come all the way down and test these levels here? That's crazy. I mean, at this point, I can't even. We're kind of at a bottom here, kind of at a double bottom that just led to nothing. What's up, Dimitri? Glad you joined us. So yeah, nothing for me on this. This is kind of overrun already. CAD Swiss, this looked interesting. I didn't take this position, but I was curious to see how it would play out. So CAD Swiss finally had that nice higher low develop, busted through the daily EMA, came back down. Looked like it was just retesting it before continuing higher. We are making, higher lows and now higher highs. I was worried about a potential pullback further, but I liked I liked the deceleration that was happening right here, and I like this low test candle. So I put a position on just to see what would happen, but I was afraid it might need a deeper pullback. I like the higher time frames on this. I think this has some pretty good potential. This is another one from the weekly watch list. But I could definitely see this at least coming up to test these lows here after all this momentum. And let's actually look at US oil real quick. So US oil is looking bullish. I think we're going to actually get a breakout. Yeah, this trend line is holding pretty darn well. And it is just moving now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if this level holds, or if we get a break, then this CAD strength could continue. So Aussie CAD could actually be. Let's look at Aussie CAD again. What's your opinion on US dollar, Dimitri? Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. I definitely want to see a breakout either way. Just yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, this weekly, you can't argue with the weekly. I sure as heck wouldn't. That is pretty darn bearish, and there's a lot of upside resistance here, with the daily and the weekly being right. I bet the daily, the weekly, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, they're probably all sitting right there. I think the 4 hour is the one that's the highest up there. Yeah, just trying to get through this is going to be torture. If it breaks through this, I think that'd be a pretty significant sign. Let's look at Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie had an interesting 4 hour chart. So we're still we're still stuck in this zone of just sideways nothingness with a huge false 4 hour breakout. And now price is decelerating. Now we're sitting at the pivot with a 4 hour high test candle. So this is kind of coinciding with a potential break or a potential Aussie strength coming in. This looks like Aussie could push this down. And it's kind of looking that same way for me on Aussie dollar. It's definitely too soon to try to act on this, in my opinion, just because we're still stuck in this consolidation box and we're still riding this 4 hour. But this one's definitely interesting to see if we do get some momentum in and see if we get a break of this 4 hour finally. The weekly chart was this really ugly sideways. What the heck is going on? So this could just start to reverse. And maybe it'll form a double bottom or something before it starts moving up, or maybe it just collapses more to the downside. Definitely need some more development on this to see what happens. This is a major zone here. Price is just struggling, cannot get any higher. That was pretty interesting. Let's look at EuroCAD. So EuroCAD was looking like it was going to break out higher high, potentially form a higher low off of this support here, because we are still trending higher high, higher low, higher high. This is still a higher low. So I thought this could be the continuation, but it's not. With CAD, with the CAD oil correlation, I'm not too sure what's going to happen. I like this trend change. I think this was a really nice lower high. It was a nice breakdown. This would have been a pretty cool APL move if you were anticipating the trend change. I'm still pretty bearish on this, just with the way this is breaking down like this, and we got the lower high. This is still a lower low. So until we break these highs, I'm still going to keep a bearish bias. This is interesting. This is an interesting level here. So we are sitting at the 618. Now we have a inverted hammer candle. But taking any long positions at this point, you'd be trading right into the daily EMA, which wouldn't be very fun. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. I'm still a bear though. This is still a lower low. This is a nice trend change. So maybe it'll come up and give like an APL move, and we can just set an entry, and when price tanks, it'll trigger us, and that'd be cool. So that's what I'm kind of looking at for EuroCAD. Nice of you to join us again, Dimitri. I'm just joking. Let's take a 2-minute break real quick. let's look at Euro Pound. Euro Pound. This guy. So it looks like it's potentially breaking down. I honestly still don't want to touch this until we get something. This thing just seems to go back and forth for me. This might not even be a break. Yeah, I don't know at this point. I don't want to play with it. Let's see what happens. Euro yen. I'm assuming Euro yen is pretty bearish. It's looking like it needs to develop, Scott. It looks like we need some more development. I wish I would dictate that and send it. So this thing's just like all the other Euro pairs. We're finally down at this level where the previous highs were. So it'll be interesting to see if this slows down at all. We have the first signs of deceleration with this inverted hammer candle, but there's no way I'd want to go long after all this. This is crazy. Thanks, Dimitri. Yeah, this is just. It's a trap! It's a trap! Yeah, who the heck knows what's going to happen right here. A lot of these pairs we just need to sit and wait. Euro Kiwi. So Euro Kiwi ended. This thing's pretty choppy. So this thing's looking pretty pretty gross. We got this inverted hammer yesterday that led to some bullish momentum. We did kind of have this like break and retest here, and it looks like it could potentially start trending higher. At this point, I don't want to take that long. So yeah, this one definitely needs some more development. This consolidation here is just disgusting. I don't like it at all. I mean, the 4 hour looks a little cleaner. I like the triple top, but now we have a double bottom that's led to this bigger double bottom, and I definitely see some bullish pressure coming in. But I wouldn't want to trade through this. So maybe it'll come up and we'll get a retest of it, or we'll get a false break or something. But at this point, this zone right here is kind of shaky. Euro dollar. Euro dollar. So euro dollar sitting at the bottom of this little trend line here. We got a nice deceleration doji. We got this the bigger doji, but we did get the beginnings of a higher high on the intraday. 4 hour chart is just bearish, so bearish, so bearish. The 1 hour chart did have the beginnings of this potential trend change. I liked the break and retest I like the deceleration here. And it started to look good, and then it immediately collapsed. So at this point, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. This is another one of those dollar pairs that's just scary to go long into with the weekly chart looking the way it is. The weekly chart is very bearish. I can definitely see that. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Definitely interesting to see. Tomorrow will be a good day, I think. It'll at least give us some direction. Let's look at pound Aussie. So pound Aussie's just been taken off. After that first APL here, it just kept going. It's been moving pretty well. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Now we're coming up to this level here where there was, previous rejections. There's been quite a few rejections at this level, so it'll be interesting to see if we get some deceleration. Maybe we'll get another higher low. Maybe we can draw a trend line in here. See if we can get a higher low, maybe at this level. At this point, it's pretty overextended. I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd want to take an APL at this point. I mean, it is trending pretty well. The weekly has that nice double bottom, and now we're getting that confirmation. We were looking at this off of this low test here, and price has just gone up. Another one of those moves that was pretty tough to take advantage of. Once it moved, it moved. And if you didn't really get in on this APL here, it's kind of tough to get in. But at this point, I think it's too high to try to go long unless we get a really big pullback to this point and maybe take it up to the previous highs. I don't know. I want to see what happens with the US dollar and see if Aussie powers up like it looks like it might. So let's look at pound Swiss. Pound Swiss looks like it might actually break to the upside. Maybe. We'll see what happens once it gets to this level. I'm still not a fan of this pair. It's still not doing a whole lot for me. But I mean, it's still stuck in this triangle. It's still above the daily here. We formed that double bottom on it. And now we got some bullish pressure. So this is another one where you need a little more development to really, for me to get a good read on it. Let's take a look at pound yen. Pound yen's not looking too good. So pound yen finally broke out of this to the downside. This is another one. Is this just going to keep going down and retest these lows? And this one's so grindy. It's just, I guess if you're going to short a yen pair, this is not the yen pair to short. At least not right now. This definitely not. So let's look at pound kiwi. Pound kiwi's got some really cool price action on the 4-hour chart. So pound kiwi, if you just did nothing but APLs on pound kiwi, and even if you waited for this breakout higher high, come down, get this first higher low, You could have taken this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. That could have been 8% on one pair if we would have just been patient, just because this has been trending so well on the lower time frames or the higher time frames of this double bottom. It's just continuously making higher highs and higher lows and higher highs and higher lows. And I mean, even if you waited to get out of this chop right here, this is where it was just going sideways for a couple of weeks. This first one to give the confirmation, that was the first APL. That was this first break up here. So yeah, this at least with the pound pairs, this APL strategy seems to be working pretty darn well. I didn't actually capture any of these moves. This was actually the one that Ben and I were talking about yesterday or the day before that ended up looking like it might. It just missed it. I tried to play around with it and give it like the benefit of the doubt, but it's still it's it's still a little short of the 2%, but it looks like it might end up hitting it. That's pretty cool to see that. Pound Kiwi seems to do pretty well. I think it's one of the better pairs that I've seen the APLs work on. Yeah, we're definitely. That's the whole reason we didn't want to take this one because we were trading right into this zone. This is a pretty significant daily level here, but it looks like we're finally out of it. Looks like we finally had that breakout. Maybe we'll get another APL move, retesting this level here, and then take it up. But this is trending very well on the 4-hour chart. So this is definitely one to keep on the APL watch. Let's look at pound dollar. So pound dollar looks like, as long as we end the week without breaking the previous lows, this looks like a higher low. This looks like a potential triple bottom with its first higher low, and we might end up breaking above this resistance here. And we kind of have a double bottom on the daily now, which is pretty cool. This is a pretty good level here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens today. If we'll end up getting the pullback, or if it'll just take off. Yeah, this is just grinding sideways now. There definitely isn't much volume in the market. And this is another one of those dollar pairs that's once we get a clear breakout here, that would be really nice because then we'll have a higher high on the daily after a higher low. That's trend change confirmation, and that first pullback would be maybe we'll get a breakout retest of this trend line and continue higher. But it looks like a lot of sitting on the hands. Pound CAD. So pound CAD's kind of tricky. Just that we got this double top, and this is definitely a lower high, and now we've come down, and this is potential double bottom, could be a lower low. But it could also be the first potential higher low, especially after all this bullish momentum that came in. The tricky thing about this is CAD has been really strong just due to that US oil run. So this, even though it looks, I think it looks pretty good, just as, I think this reminds me just as of pound kiwi, where it came up and it formed that little double top, and then it came down to give that first higher low, and then the APL, and it just started every APL after that. So that's what I was trying to anticipate on this. So this got triggered in yesterday, or earlier today, or I don't know. But I got triggered in on this APL, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I am because I am anticipating this being the higher low. I'm okay with trading the breakout here because I'm assuming that we are now forming higher highs and this is a higher low, and we are going to continue trending higher. So that's why I'm okay with playing the breakout and trading into this resistance here. But it'll be interesting to see what happens because CAD's been looking kind of strong just because of the oil. But this is technically, I guess that would have been the first APL actually. He would have gotten stopped out. So this is technically the second one. So we'll see how this plays out. Kiwi yen, I'm assuming Kiwi yen is just bearish, 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 bearish. So we definitely got some deceleration. It started to chop sideways and then just completely collapsed. This would have been, I guess, once the second high developed right here, if I would have drawn a line in, you could see that it's got pretty good structure. So as soon as we saw this double top here, that probably would have been a pretty good indication to take this short just on the continuation. It's really tough for me to play these after they've been running for so long. I guess it's counterintuitive in that you want to always be trading with the trend, but then after it's been trending for so long, I get hesitant to continue trading it because I don't. When I see stuff like this, I'm like, oh, is it finally starting to decelerate and form a bottom? So that's been something I've been kind of struggling with. But I guess once you get to this double top, I mean, this is now a quad top. This was a pretty good indication that prices. Blue trend lines on white theme. Show me a picture. But yeah, this one's so overextended now. I mean, the weekly on this, man. I mean, we were looking at this up here at 80, and now it's down here at 75. 500 pips later. That's frustrating. So I don't have anything on Kiwi yen. I don't know what to do with this one. It's too bearish now. Kiwi Swiss is still chopping sideways, still stuck in the box. This is a great example of terrible price action. It could be decelerating, but this is the weekly on this. Weekly on this finally broke down, and there wasn't much momentum. I mean, we got the retest here. Now it's just been sitting sideways. I don't know what happened to the downside momentum. I don't know if it's just because both of them are weak or what's going on, but we're stuck in the box. So that's a no-go. Kiwi CAD, I wanted this nice break out of the box so that we could finally get a signal to go short on this. So this was just put on for the weekly watch just to see how this would play out. And it is breaking down. It's not very convincing. I mean, it did. I don't know. I guess I need more than that. I need maybe an APL. Give me one of these. I mean, both of these would have worked out perfect. So that after we got this nice confirmation here, this one would have worked out. So maybe another APL. I think the APLs will be the way to go for New Zealand CAD, just because if this daily starts to play out, I mean, this is the lower low, this is the lower high, and now we have this trend change. It would be nice to like try to catch every APL all the way down to the previous lows. And if Kiwi continues to be weak and CAD continues to power up because of oil, this could be a really good play to the downside. Just need to keep an eye on this 4-hour chart. See if we can get some more pullbacks like this. Dollar CAD. So now we have this triple bottom at the daily 50 on dollar CAD. This one looked like it was starting to trend, but now it's a lower high. So now we have a lower high, which to me is just trend continuation, but now we're starting to decelerate again at this daily EMA. Now we have a triple bottom. So right now this is still pretty much a consolidation zone. This is a consolidation level. This is pretty good deceleration, but I'm not trying to go long on this after this breakout here completely failed. So I'm just not a fan of dollar CAD. Let's look at dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss is looking pretty interesting. It looks like we could potentially be starting a pullback here after we've hit these previous highs. Price is just, it's kind of stuck. So a breakout in one direction. I don't know. I don't want to go long yet until it breaks out. And I definitely don't want to go short just because I think there isn't too much room to move here. And if this is bullish, I don't want to potentially get caught in a short position with this going long. I need more to develop here. I don't like the level it's sitting at. I don't want to take it short just yet. Again, these dollar pairs, they need to do something. They need to show their hand. Oh, dollar yen, dollar yen, dollar yen. So dollar yen looks so perfect to me. It looks so good. I like the breakout. It was starting to look really good on the 1-hour chart. Once we got this breakout and this low test here, I was pretty darn convinced. I wasn't really carrying too much weight on it breaking below the 1-hour EMA, just because it's been kind of all over the place lately. But this looked good, and then we got this like tweezer bottom, and I was even more convinced, and then it collapsed. So this is really shaking my bias on a bullish dollar, just because these weekly tweezers did nothing. Now we are just tanking away. And this is a lower high. So again, with the yen pairs, I don't know how much further back they can go. I mean, potentially take it down to 618. I don't know at this point. This could come back up and retest this support here and then continue short. This could be a potential. But you can see, just as this started to break down and we got this new lower low, this first lower high was an APL that would have played out perfectly. This one technically would have been an APL. I think the stop would have been tight enough to get your 2 on this. Yeah, could have easily gotten 2. So, I mean, an APL here, an APL here, an APL here. I mean, all 3 of those would have worked out, and you're just going with with the dominant trend, I mean, it's still bearish. Yeah, I don't know how low we can go on this. This is, it's starting to look like you just need to take all the APLs until you start losing. If you lose an APL, then maybe the trend is reversing. But it honestly seems like once these once these pairs just start trending like this, every single one plays out. It's just time and time again. You might get caught out on. Actually, this one wouldn't even triggered you in until right here. So this one would have worked out great too. So every single one of these would have worked out. Every time we're in a trending market, these APLs play out every single time. There's like 6 of them on this. And it's pretty frustrating. So definitely going to keep the APLs in the back of my mind now, just because it seems to capture a lot of movement. We can take a look at Swiss yen. Swiss yen is kind of just like the others. It's breaking down. It looks like it's starting to pull back a little bit. At this point, it's so overextended that I really don't want to short this. Now we're sitting at the 50% retracement of this move, so yeah, this is another one that I'm just going to sit on the sidelines. Dollar Mexican peso looked pretty interesting, just because we finally broke this huge trend line that's been going on. This is the weekly chart, and the price has just been chugging along. And now it's just, this is a massive, massive breakdown. Again, I got in right at the top here when I saw this inside bar high test candle, and I took a quick like 2% on this and missed out on all of this. What the heck? And this one again, look at the APLs on this one. Just there's 3 of them. Ding, 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 ding. Just off of this weekly momentum, this nice double top that formed that weekly high test. I think I'm overcomplicating things lately. I think I just need to keep it simple. Dollar index we talked about. U.S. oil is just a rocket ship to the moon. Gold looked like it broke out yesterday. Yeah, gold is breaking out now. This could just be the pullback beginning to form a higher low before this continues higher. It definitely looks bullish. I mean, we got the first higher low, and now it's already at a higher high, so it started a bullish trend. I can't trade gold myself, but it's still interesting to look at. This was 3 APLs in a row. This might not. For those that can trade gold, this might be a decent play right here. Finally have that breakout higher high. Come back down, retest this level, and go long. That looks pretty good. I'd be happy with that. But this is a nice, significant break. This was a pretty decent level here. That caused some nice rejections in the past. And now it's a clean break. Yeah, so I'm bullish on gold, at least until we hit these previous highs up here. So that's all I got. You guys want to go over anything else? Anything else that you guys are potentially looking at? Euro's looking pretty bullish. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That sucks. That really sucks. Ooh, literally got the perfect stopped out, and now it's gone. That is terrible. That is super frustrating. Would I take it short? No, I wouldn't take it short just because I wanted to go long. I really liked the long bias on it. It's not to say that a short position won't work out, but oh, did anybody take Euro? Is anybody still in on it? Shucks. All right, well, let's conclude this one. Hopefully, we'll have something better tomorrow. If we get some pretty good opportunities tomorrow, we can have another session. That'll be fun if we get some good potential positions. Yeah, markets are pretty nasty right now. So you guys have a good night, good evening, good morning. Be patient. Definitely be patient. All right, see you guys.